Imagine a tiny bird so small and ordinary that most people barely notice it. Yet this little creature managed to conquer almost the entire planet and become one of the most successful birds in history. Walk through a city street in New York, a small town in Texas, a neighborhood in California, or countless communities across the globe, and chances are you'll hear the familiar chirping of house sparrows. They seem so common that it's easy to assume they have always been there. But the truth is far more surprising. House sparrows were not native to most of the places where they now thrive. In fact, their worldwide takeover is one of the most remarkable bird success stories ever recorded. The story begins thousands of years ago in parts of Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. Long before modern cities existed, house sparrows lived near open grasslands and rocky habitats. They were adaptable birds, always searching for opportunities. Then something happened that would change their future forever. Humans began farming. As people planted crops, stored grain, and built permanent settlements, house sparrows discovered a new source of food, unlike anything they had known before. Suddenly there were endless supplies of seeds, grains, and scraps. While many wild birds struggled to adjust to human activity, house sparrows did the opposite. They embraced it. Over generations, they became experts at living alongside people. They nested in cracks of buildings, under rooftops, and anywhere they could find shelter. Instead of avoiding humans, they learned to benefit from them. This relationship gave house sparrows a powerful advantage. Wherever humans expanded, sparrows often followed. As civilizations grew across Europe and Asia, house sparrows spread with them. Villages became towns. Towns became cities. Grain stores multiplied. Farms expanded. Everywhere humans created food and shelter, sparrows found opportunities. Yet their greatest expansion was still ahead. In the 19th century, people began transporting house sparrows across oceans. One of the most famous introductions occurred in North America during the 1850s. At the time, some city leaders believed sparrows could help control insects that were damaging trees and gardens. Groups of house sparrows were brought from Europe and released in cities such as New York. The results were astonishing. The birds adapted almost immediately. They found food. They found nesting sites. They survived harsh winters and hot summers. Within a few decades, they had spread across enormous distances. By the early 20th century, house sparrows could be found throughout much of the United States and Canada. Their expansion happened so quickly that many people barely noticed they were witnessing a biological invasion unfolding in real time. What made these birds so successful? The answer lies in a collection of traits that seem almost perfectly designed for survival. House sparrows are incredibly flexible when it comes to food. While they primarily eat seeds and grains, they are far from picky. They can consume insects, crumbs, livestock feed, and many other food sources. This flexibility means they rarely depend on a single type of food. They are also highly social birds. A lone sparrow may be vulnerable, but a flock of sparrows can share information about food and danger. Watch them closely, and you'll often see groups feeding together, bathing together, and gathering in noisy flocks before sunset. Their social nature helps them adapt to unfamiliar environments. Then there is their ability to reproduce. House sparrows can raise multiple broods during a single breeding season. A successful pair may produce several groups of young in 1 year. When conditions are favorable, populations can grow rapidly. Another secret to their success is their fearlessness around people. Many bird species become stressed by human activity. House sparrows seem almost indifferent to it. They feed near busy sidewalks, nest beside traffic, and thrive in environments that would drive many other birds away. In a strange way, they have become specialists in living within the human world. As cities expanded around the globe, house sparrows expanded with them. They reached South America, Australia, New Zealand, parts of Africa, and countless islands. Today they inhabit environments ranging from cold northern climates to scorching deserts. Few bird species have achieved such a vast distribution. But every success story has a complicated side. As house sparrows spread into new regions, they often competed with native birds for food and nesting spaces. In some areas, they became aggressive rivals. They frequently occupied nesting cavities that other birds needed. Sometimes they even displaced local species from preferred nesting sites. This created challenges for birds that had evolved in those habitats long before sparrows arrived. Scientists have spent decades studying the impact of house sparrows on native wildlife. The effects vary from place to place, but there is no doubt that the arrival of these birds changed ecosystems across much of the world. Yet, despite their controversial reputation in some regions, researchers remain fascinated by their extraordinary adaptability. One reason scientists study house sparrows so closely is because these birds offer clues about how animals respond to human-created environments. Cities can be difficult places for wildlife. There is noise, pollution, artificial lighting, and constant disturbance. Yet house sparrows continue to survive and reproduce. In many urban settings, their success raises important questions. What allows some species to flourish in cities while others decline? How do animals adjust to rapidly changing environments? What can we learn from species that have mastered urban life? The humble house sparrow has become one of the key birds, helping scientists explore those questions. If you're enjoying uncovering these hidden bird secrets, be sure to subscribe to Backyard Bird Mysteries for more fascinating stories from the world right outside your window. Perhaps the most remarkable thing about house sparrows is how easily people overlook them. Because they are common, many observers assume they are uninteresting. Yet behind every chirp is a survival story spanning continents and centuries. Think about what these birds have accomplished. Without advanced intelligence, without massive size, and without spectacular colors, they managed to spread across much of the globe. They adapted to cultures, climates, and landscapes that their ancestors could never have imagined. They crossed oceans with humans. They settled in crowded cities. They survived freezing winters and blistering heat. They learned to thrive wherever people created opportunities. Few animals have matched that level of adaptability. Even today, researchers continue discovering new details about how house sparrows communicate, navigate urban environments, and adjust their behavior to local conditions. The more scientists learn, the more impressive these small birds appear. The next time you see a house sparrow hopping across a sidewalk or chirping from a rooftop, take a moment to look a little closer. You are not simply observing a common backyard bird. You are looking at one of nature's greatest colonizers, a species that transformed itself from a regional bird into a global phenomenon. Its journey reminds us that sometimes the most extraordinary creatures are not the rarest or the most colorful. Sometimes they are the ones hiding in plain sight, quietly succeeding while the world rushes past them. And as amazing as the house sparrow's global conquest may seem, there is another backyard bird whose secret strategy for surviving winter is even more unbelievable.